We're here with Professor Fabio Gurgel of Alliance. Thank you so much for doing this.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So Alliance just won your 15th world title, the most of any team. Another incredible 2025 Worlds. This race was a little bit closer than last year. So tell me about the journey to the top of the podium.
I think it was amazing. You know, it's a great mark to achieve. 15 titles is more than the double of the second place, which is Gracie Barra that has 7. So we are really proud of the team, and of course, teamwork, right? There's a lot of people involved. But we did it. We are very happy. The tournament was very tough. We had a very, I would say, one of the worst days that we had in the Worlds, the first day of blue belts. Our blue belts didn't perform. We lost so many fights, like, you know, ref's decision, quarterfinals. But end of the day, we didn't score the points on the blue belt division, and we went home with 2 points only. And we had Dream Hard leading the tournament with almost 40. So it was a big distance between the two teams. And also AOJ and Atos was somewhere in the middle. Second day, we had an amazing day with the brown belts. Our brown belts did really well. We won Eduardo with division and open. Yeah. He made the double gold. He closed the bracket on the middleweight with Danilo. And we have Gui Avelino doing really well also on his division and in the open. So we scored a bunch of points and we got really close. And at the end of the day, we won the rooster weight in the purple belt, because we had 2 divisions in purple belt, right, on Friday. So then we won that division and we passed Ring R. So we started leading the competition. And I remember that I went to the hotel with, you know, doing the math and said, man, you know, it's looking good, you know, because Dream R didn't have any black belts to compete. And we know that, you know, AOJ had a lot of people, but they were way behind in points at that point. And they won the open with a light feather, right? So it was not very likely to happen. And then I saw, and they came very close. And we had the Saturday with the qualifying for the finals, and AOJ had 6 people, right? 6 black belts on the semifinals. Yep. And against 3 of ours. And so we need to do a lot of calculations, and we need to win at least 1 division, and they need to lose at least 2 divisions. And that was exactly what happened, you know. So we had a great performance from Jalen, from Cobrinha, and the kid was, you know, displaying unbelievable jiu-jitsu and confidence and strategy and everything combined. So he did a perfect tournament and he won the Rooster division. And he won against Talisson on the semifinals, which was you know, I think that point was the where I realized that we were very close to win the tournament, because we took out Talisson and put Jalen on the final. You know, so it was tournaments is always like that, you know. When you look in the details, we already won tournaments that was for 1 point only, you know, and we lost for a few as well. So it's a part of the game, you know. I'm happy that the trophy is in-house, and more important than that is between Jiu-Jitsu academies. That's the most important thing.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk a little bit about Jalen, because you brought him up. He had an amazing run. He got 2 submissions his first day. Then he beat Talisson, and then he beat Bebeto, 2 former world champions. Looked absolutely outstanding, has Cobrinha in his corner, so you know he's getting incredible guidance. You just talk about Jalen as an athlete, winning the title, and he's only 19 as well.
Yeah, he's 19, but I remember Jalen since he was a kid, and his nickname is the future, right? Mm-hmm. So and he really was, you know, and he's always very dedicated, and Cobrinha always put a lot of effort in coaching and guiding him. And every time I speak with Cobrinha about him, Cobrinha always say things they are just not just jiu-jitsu, is beyond jiu-jitsu. You know, it's how he behaves, how he study, how he treats his parents, how he helped the other students in the academy. So I think he's a true champion making. You know, it's just his first year, and I'm sure that you guys gonna, you know, see Jalen shining a lot in the next future.
Yeah, his maturity, like you said, and his dedication and his discipline, like, really stand out. For someone who's only 19, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible, yes.
So I want to talk about some of the other leaders from Alliance who are a really big part of, like, the team title. Thought we'd start with Michael Langhi. He's been doing a lot of coaching at Alliance Sao Paulo. So can you just talk about Langhi's current role with the competition team?
I think there's a good story because Langhi was part of our dream team, right, in Alliance in the years 2000 when we won basically everything. He was together with Lucas Lepre, Cobrinha, Marcelo Garcia, Sérgio Moraes, Bernardo Faria, Léo Nogueira, and many others, Tarsis Humphreys. And then he stays in São Paulo with me. And in order to keep him there, I offer him some partnership in the academy. Right, so we start teaching together and more commitment with the growth of the academy. At some certain point, I say, look, I need to take care of the association. The Alliance is growing as a company. I need you to take over the academy, you know. So we partnership on the academy, and he's the CEO of the academies there, Vila Olímpia in São Paulo. He takes care of the academy 100%. He's doing a great job. Right, the academy is growing. We have now both academies with 1,400 students, a lot of private students. So the academy is very successful. But we had a different challenge for him, which is leading the competition team, which is a different animal, right? Mm-hmm. He was really involved, but the time that he got the leadership of the group, we had that ring out problem. You know, we had a split inside the team, and all that, you know, situation was very stressful for Michael. But on the other hand, I think it was very good for him in terms of gaining maturity. Mm-hmm. You know, so now he's a much experienced guy. You know, guide the students in a much better way, and he proved his value. You know, he stands still and he hold the pressure, you know, and now he became one of the best coaches in the world. You know, if you count Alliance São Paulo alone, we were the academy that scored more points inside our group. You know, sometimes Mario scored more points, and this time Michael was the one that scored more points. So I think both of them are great coaches. They work very well together. They are close friends. We are totally aligned in terms of culture and what we believe that Jiu-Jitsu should be. So I couldn't be more happy. Couldn't be more happy to have those guys around.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit more about Mario? I believe he's at Alliance Porto Alegre, if I'm not wrong.
Porto Alegre in the south of Brazil. Mario is one of the best coaches out there. He made already many champions, world champions. He has his personal style in training the guys, and the guys are always sharp for all the competitions. So together they are a great force. And now we have Cobrinha more involved, which is kind of leader for both of them. Like Cobrinha is a little older than Mario and Michael, and has, of course, a lot of influence in them as well. So Cobrinha is again involved in the competition, and we are very happy to have Cobrinha again helping our team. I think the future is bright for us, and won't be very easy for our adversaries.
Yeah, absolutely. So I thought we'd talk a little bit too about the Alliance Institute, because I know that's a huge part of, especially for the color belts, that's a program that a lot of them take part in. It helps them not only get support for the competitions, but also helps them become better teachers and better advocates for Jiu-Jitsu moving forward, which is super important. So can you talk about the role of the Institute?
I think the idea of the Institute, I don't believe much in help people just to help, to prove that I'm a nice person. Also, I need to help other people. I really believe in the way that you align your goals in doing good for you and good for the others.
Yeah.
Right? When this is aligned, it's much stronger because you are never tired to help yourself. Right? So if you do something that is beneficial for you at the same time you can help people, for me that's the ideal project. That's exactly what we do in the Institute. Institute, of course, provide the financial support for our athletes. We know that to go to the circuit and compete Europeans, Pan Ams, Brazilian nationals, and worlds is very expensive.
Yeah.
You know, and so we support the guys financially, but the return is okay. You're gonna start working with jiu-jitsu to get a better living, and in order to do that, you need to study, you need to read, you need to gain form, and of course try to to start understanding how you can be a better instructor, because that's the natural. I'm not saying that you have to be an instructor, but at least you need to know, right? And what we're seeing after, almost 5 years of the project with the Institute, that we already brought the guys from blue belt to black. So it means that they are out of the support. As soon as they get the black belt, there's no more financial support. But those guys that are reaching that level, they already make a lot of money teaching, right? Supporting the academies and sometimes searching for new opportunities in having their own academies one day. So that's what the Institute do. And of course, there's a beneficial for Alliance because they compete for us, right? So during all this process, that window usually takes 3 to 4 years maximum.
Yeah.
Right? And again, the example that we just talked about, Eduardo, he got the double gold as a brown belt. He got his black. He doesn't need the Institute anymore, right? Because now he has seminars, a lot of private students. So they are already, kind of established and can provide for himself. And that's the idea of the Institute, Take these kids to the point that they don't need the help anymore.
I think what's amazing about it too is you're really like setting the foundation for their future and also for the future of jiu-jitsu, because they're going to help spread the art, they're going to help teach, like I said, be advocates. Do you feel like setting that foundation and giving them those future goals and missions, does that kind of help them as competitors and make them feel like, oh, I have something to work towards more than just the gold medal?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't believe that if you work just for the results, I think that mindset is very fragile in the sense that what you can get, maybe you're gonna get the frustration to don't achieve that goal, and being a world champion is not easy, right?
Yeah.
So very likely that you're gonna get frustrated. The second is, okay, you got the title, you are a world champion, and now what's next? So it's a kind of sense that, oh, I did it, but it didn't really change my life, right? When you work in order to build your legacy, that's a completely different thing, right? I'm gonna get some titles, down the road for sure, but I'm gonna work every day to be better in every aspect of my life, right? So I'm gonna try to evolve as a human being. I try to evolve as a professor. I'm gonna try to evolve as a competitor. I'm gonna try to evolve, and that's what really moves you forward. Right? Maybe you're gonna be a guy that, let's say, you are in the division that Malfacini used to compete in his time, It doesn't matter how good you are. You won't get the title, right? Because Mofassim took it all. The same thing with Roger Gracie or Buchecha or those guys. It doesn't mean that the second place has no value, right? But it's not about the results, it's about what you build. And I think that's what Jiu-Jitsu needs. People with that mentality of, spreading Jiu-Jitsu because Jiu-Jitsu is good for people. People need Jiu-Jitsu. People need to be resilient. People need to be adaptable. People need to be strong. People need to be capable of doing things, right? And that's what we learn in Jiu-Jitsu every day, right?
Yeah.
So if we have more people with that understanding and with that will to pass this to the society, I think Jiu-Jitsu will be in good hands. That's what we believe, and that's how we work towards it.
Yeah, you guys definitely have several leaders who are embodying that mission, so that's incredible.
Yeah.
So I thought we'd talk about some of the expansion of Alliance. I know you have the gyms in Brazil that are super successful. I think you recently opened a gym in London too that's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
And then you're also opening up a gym in Huntington Beach. So can you talk about that and maybe some plans for future U.S. expansion?
Yes, absolutely. Of course, U.S. is the biggest market in the world for everything, right? And but what I see is that Jiu-Jitsu that came to the U.S. in 90s or 2000s, when we had that big migration from Brazil to the U.S., those people, in their majority, they moved because Jiu-Jitsu wasn't that good in Brazil at that time. So, and Jiu-Jitsu wasn't that good because they probably were working in the wrong way. And they brought that system to the US. And of course, US is a better market, and they did well, right? But I stay in Brazil. I decided to don't move. So I need to figure out how to do things in a different way in order to succeed. So what I believe is that the system that Alliance has today in terms of business is more developed than the other Jiu-Jitsu academies that we have out here. And we want to bring that system to the US, and Huntington Beach is going to be our first location. And we have a very audacious plan of expansion to have 50 new academies, 50 flagships in the US in the next 10 years. So that's the plan. We need instructors, of course. That's the core of the business, and we need to prepare the instructors and get the instructors with the same mentality in delivery Jiu-Jitsu. And most of the times is like, what's the biggest change between one system, the old system, and the system that we do now? We look from the point of view of the student all the time. So all the divisions of levels that we have in the academy, the way we teach is always, is my student understanding? Is my student able to comprehend what I'm talking about? Or I'm just throwing techniques and let them survive, right? So we changed that and really believe that the US market is more than ready to receive this new way of, running business in Jiu-Jitsu. And so we're gonna start, let's see.
Yeah, it's amazing. I know you have a book that recently just came out, and it's about some of the principles that you've learned in Jiu-Jitsu and applied to life and business and so many things. Can you just plug the book for us?
Yes,
where they can get it?
Man, I got this invitation to write a book. It was a big surprise for me, and was a very important publisher in Brazil. And so I was very happy with, to be invited to do that. And I wrote the book with my hands, no help from anyone, and it took like 8 to 9 months to write the book. We published in the end of 2024, and it became a huge success. You know, I couldn't imagine that Jiu-Jitsu would go that far. You know, so we sold thousands of copies, and then now we decide to put in English. So it's already in Amazon and under the name Unshakable. And it talks about, of course, it's a biography in a way, but I try to bring all the lessons, the most important lessons that I got through Jiu-Jitsu, you know, and I mix a little bit with the Stoic philosophy, that something that I really like to live by, and I think that's totally related with in what we live inside the mats.
Yeah.
So people that do Jiu-Jitsu gonna get these analogies very easy. You know, it's gonna be probably the easiest book to read about philosophy in your life if you do Jiu-Jitsu. But if you don't do Jiu-Jitsu, it's also a good window for you to start looking to Jiu-Jitsu with a different eyes. You know, that Jiu-Jitsu is not just a way of fighting, it's not just a martial art. Is definitely a tool for you to develop virtues. You know, that's exactly what I believe, and that's why I'm doing that's kind of mission that I have in my life, and to spread Jiu-Jitsu in that sense.
That's awesome. I can't wait to read it. Well, I wanted to share a story with you before we wrap this up. We went to Cobrinha's the other night to interview him and Jalen and talk about Jalen's world title. And I asked him a question about why he felt like Alliance was so successful and the team was able to win another world title. And he said it was because Alliance has leaders like Fabio Gurgel who have invested so much in the community and building up these young practitioners and turning them into great teachers who spread Jiu-Jitsu all across the world. So just wanted to share that with you and acknowledge you.
Thank you very much, but Cobrinha is suspicious. Yeah, but the thing is, the idea behind the Alliance, behind even the name, is to don't personalizing anybody, you know, and everybody can have their space and can contribute for the growth of the team and consequently for the growth of Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
You know, I think we have been doing this for 30 years, and without people as Cobrinha, Michael Langhi, Mario, and so many others, Lucas Lepri, Bruno Malfacini, all these guys that really wrote the story, you know, and that's the beauty. You can't do anything that's valuable alone. You have to be surrounded by good people, and
Absolutely.
We are blessed to have the best.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again for your time today. We
My
really
pleasure.
appreciate it. Congrats on the 15th world title.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.